you know that's true because OnlyFans. Do you know what goes on OnlyFans?
A little, I've been told.
Oh, did I embarrass America's sweetheart? Oh, it's good.
No, but it's a lot of yeah.
Well,
My daughter used to threaten me that she would go on OnlyFans, but she was
they
kidding.
would tell you that it's a place where content creators can make people aware of anything, pottery, gardening. It's men masturbating is what it is. It's men masturbating and young girls taking off their clothes and playing with themselves while a baby cries in the next room.
What is up, everyone? As you guys can already see, this is a clip from the Club Random podcast where Bill Maher absolutely eviscerates Katie Couric over the woke culture surrounding OnlyFans creators. And let me tell you, it's as hilarious as it is brutally honest. And you guys can probably already see that when Bill said it's men masturbating and young girls taking off their clothes and playing with themselves while a baby cries in the next room, which is a very true statement. So let's get into this clip. I'll be giving you my unfiltered take as always, and of course leave your opinion in the comments as we go through this clip as well.
That's what OnlyFans is. And the New York Times Magazine did a very long deep dive into it, and I'm old, so like that's how I know about OnlyFans, you know. But they have what they're called chatters. In other words, you're relating. God, I sound like I'm 100. But see, I'm not a tech person. You know, I have the basics, but like I've never been on a website with anyone like that. I'm guessing. I've never used the camera except maybe in a Zoom meeting. I guess I use it then, but like I've never done that. But okay, so you've connected through the computer. Again, I sound like I'm 89. Through the computer with this young lady, and I thought it was more direct, like an old webcam girl, where you're actually talking to each other like in a Zoom.
Right.
It's not.
It's not?
No, it's like you're texting, and she's texting back, because that's how the kids talk. But it's not even her. It's a chatter. It's a fat guy in the Philippines. And the guy who's paying for this, he must know somewhere in his mind that this is not really his girlfriend. It's not even.
Wait, but so
it's not even her communicating.
Oh, so they just use video of the girl and they have a guy pretending to chat what she would say?
Yes. Read the article.
Okay, I have to.
I swear I didn't make that up, though.
Yeah, because I thought it was live and that people were truly interacting.
Maybe there is that, too. I mean, I think it's everything, but this is how they described it.
Oh, interesting.
The girl has
this is OnlyFans?
Because some of the girls don't speak English.
Yeah. Well, that's not surprising, right?
And that's not surprising at all, because we exploit non-English speakers. Here, here. And it must end. Tonight it must end. But that goes to your point about the loneliness. I mean, it just blows my mind that guys and they spend a fortune on it.
Alright, I think this is an excellent spot to pause because Bill is pointing out the loneliest epidemic and he's absolutely right. But let's not just stop at loneliness. Let's talk about how OnlyFans in and of itself is quite literally making men weak. And I don't mean physically weak, I'm talking about emotionally, mentally, and just socially weak. These guys are spending fortunes on OnlyFans, AI, sex dolls, and porn because they've lost the ability to form real, meaningful connections. Why? Because we've created a culture that tells men it's easier to pay for a fake relationship than it is to put in the effort to build a real one. It's like we've handed them a cheat code for life, but the cheat code is broken. Back in the day when people used to learn how to talk to women, how to handle rejection, how to grow and improve themselves, they're just now swiping, subscribing, and spending some money to get what they want. And what does that do? It makes them dependent on these artificial transactional interactions that require zero effort, zero vulnerability, and zero growth. It's like feeding a kid candy instead of teaching them how to cook a meal. Sure, it's easier in the moment, but it's going to ruin them in the long run. And looking at the bigger picture here, because again, this isn't just about men being lonely or weak. It's about what this does to society as a whole. When you have a generation of men who can't form real relationships, who don't know how to communicate, and who expect instant gratification without any effort, what do you think happens? You get a breakdown of families, of communities, and of civilization as a whole. And the issue is no one's talking about this. We're so busy celebrating this hustle culture and side hustles, and what we're ignoring is the fact that we're creating a generation of men who are emotionally stunted and socially inept. And I think within these next few years, and just simply as time continues to pass, especially if we stay on this path, it's truly going to start to show in the world that we all live. So I think that's an extremely important point. I, of course, would love to hear your guys' thoughts if you agree with this. Let's go ahead and get into these other points.
Well, you know now what they're starting to do. It's funny because I did a 6-hour series 4 or 5 years ago for Nat Geo, and one of them was on tech addiction. And in San Diego, I went to this whole place that manufactures sex dolls. And with AI, yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And I interviewed a man who had 2 of them. And I want you to know that you can take them apart and they're dishwasher safe.
They would, yes, they'd have to be.
Isn't that disgusting?
I mean, it is, yes,
Anyway, so there were these, and you can pick, what color eyes, breast size. There was a whole table bill of nipples that you could select. You can custom order these basically these sex dolls. And now with AI, they're implanting stuff in there, and so you can actually carry on a conversation with these.
Oh, it's very, very soon going to get to the point where, I mean, men are already largely lost to the female population, especially the young ones, because first of all, they think choking is first base and anal is second.
Oh, good Lord.
Really. And a lot of this is because of the porn and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just very rapey, and it's so funny. We have to be super duper extra politically correct, like through all these other venues, and then it like comes out here, like in the porn,
And you know that
why does it need to be incestuous, violent, not literally violent, but just very disrespectful. And look,
I think it is violent. I think a lot of it is violent.
That doesn't come on my feed.
No, but I did an interview for my podcast about this, about the easy access for especially young men to watch porn starting at like 8, 9, 10 years old, and how distorting it is
I'm sure.
for them in terms of relationships. And, listen, whatever people want to do, I don't want to sound like a prude, but just the level of misogyny and violence that they are exposed to at an incredibly young age.
No, I'm telling you, this is why, if you talk to young girls, they're like, yeah, guys my age are just impossible.
Yeah.
And for the guys, very often I've seen documentaries on porn addiction. Like how can a girl compete with, like, when they like the porn better?
Yeah.
When it starts that young, and that, of course, they perfected it.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very excellent point, and one that I also completely agree with. There is a major skewed perception of what reality looks like, especially for these younger men and women who have only ever seen this type of stuff online and don't truly understand what reality looks like. What happened to holding hands? What happened to awkward first kisses? What happened to, I don't know, basic human decency? I mean, this is the direct result of a generation raised on hardcore stuff and just simply what they see online. And I'm not going to sit here and shame anyone for watching this stuff, but let's be clear. When straight porn becomes your primary source of sex education, this is what happens. Young men are being fed this distorted, hyper-sexualized version of intimacy where violence is normalized and consent is blurred and women are treated like objects. And then we wonder why young women are out here saying, guys my age are impossible. Of course they're impossible. They've been brainwashed into thinking relationships are supposed to look like a Pornhub video. And the worst part about it is they don't even realize how warped their expectations expectations are. They've been conditioned to believe this is normal, and it's not. It's just toxic and it's damaging, and it's creating a massive disconnect between men and women. And one of the more final points that I want to mention is this isn't just a men problem, okay? Because I always hear like people say, oh, it's the men, or this is just how men are. Like, no, this is a societal problem. We've created a culture where this is more accessible than ever, and where sex education is practically non-existent. And of course, we leave young men left to figure things out on their own, and we know where that leads them. They're figuring out that, I guess, choking is first base and anal is second. I think one thing is very clear from my side, and of course I'd love to hear if you guys agree, is we need to stop pretending that this is just a boys being boys problem, because this is a crisis, and it's time we started treating it like one. Of course, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you think it is porn to blame for this mess, or is it something deeper? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.